Have you ever felt like you want to trust, but something inside you just won't let you? As if a part of you is always waiting for something to go wrong or for things to change right when you start to relax. If you're an INFJ, you probably know that feeling. Your mind sees too much. You pick up signals, intentions, patterns. You read between the lines, but that also drains you. Because while everyone else is enjoying the moment, you're analyzing whether it's real, whether it will last, or what might go wrong. Your intuition protects you, but it also traps you. And even though you want to trust, a part of you won't allow it completely. Because you learned, maybe without realizing, that when you let your guard down, it hurts more. But trusting doesn't mean being naive. It means allowing yourself to live without having all the answers. And that is the INFJ's greatest challenge, learning to let life hold them without needing to understand it all the time. Hello and welcome to Psych IQ. On this channel, we publish weekly videos to support introverted, intuitive, and sensitive people, helping them grow both personally and reflectively. Subscribe so you don't miss any future content. In this video, we'll explore how an INFJ learns to trust life, what holds them back, how their mind and heart transform, and what happens when they finally let go and begin to live. To understand why INFJs struggle so much with trust, we need to look at their inner structure. Their mind is governed by introverted intuition, that function that searches for hidden patterns, meanings, and deep connections. An INFJ doesn't just see what's happening, they see what could happen. They anticipate, they intuit, they feel consequences before they arrive. And while that ability is powerful, it's also exhausting. Because what others experience as life's surprises for the INFJ are scenarios they've already imagined, and fear confirming. Then there's their extroverted feeling, the function that seeks harmony, understanding, and emotional connection. The INFJ wants the world to make sense, for people to act with empathy, for relationships to be sincere. But when the world doesn't respond with the same sensitivity, their trust begins to crack. They start to feel like the only thing they can rely on is their own judgment. And that's where over-control begins. Because when an INFJ loses trust in the world, they try to replace it with foresight. And the more they try to predict, the less they can relax. It's an emotional loop that keeps them constantly on alert. In their early stage, the INFJ lives from intensity and idealization. They want life to have purpose, pain to have meaning, and every encounter to have a reason. They're the teen or young adult who reflects on everything, who wonders why others don't see what they see, and who often feels lonely in their depth. Their typical phrase might be, "I trust what I imagine, but not what's right in front of me." The young INFJ trusts more in their inner visions than in reality, and when the world disappoints them, as it inevitably does, they often retreat inward. They start living inside their mind, where they can find logic, meaning, and beauty. But the more they retreat into their inner world, the more they disconnect from the present. They stop living what's happening now, waiting for the day when everything finally makes sense. The key lesson of this stage is to accept the imperfection of the present moment. To understand that life isn't slipping away from lack of meaning, but from too much interpretation. When the INFJ learns to tolerate uncertainty, without running from it, they take their first step toward real trust. In early adulthood, something shifts. After years of trying to understand everything through emotion, the INFJ begins to activate their introverted thinking, the part that seeks inner logic, structure, and mental coherence. They start asking new questions. Am I interpreting, or am I actually seeing clearly? Are my intuitions real, or just projections of my fears? Why do I always feel like I have to have the answer? This stage can be confusing, even lonely. The INFJ moves from blindly trusting their intuition to questioning it with rigor. And that can make them feel, at times, disconnected from themselves. But this process is essential, because by examining their own thinking, they begin to see that their lack of trust doesn't come from the world, but from their own relationship with control. The INFJ realizes they don't trust life because they don't trust their ability to hold themselves if things go wrong. So they analyze, predict, and anticipate as a way to avoid pain. But that strategy, which once served as protection, starts to become a mental prison, because the more they try to control, the further they drift from living. The deep lesson here is this. Trust doesn't come from having all the answers, but from feeling capable of facing any answer, even the unexpected ones. The phrase that captures this point is, I don't need to understand everything to keep moving forward. It's the moment when the INFJ begins to rest in life. Emotional maturity for the INFJ arrives when they awaken their extroverted sensing, their inferior function, the most asleep, but also the most liberating. After years of living in their mind, the INFJ starts connecting with their body, their senses, the now, and something almost magical happens. They realize the present doesn't need explanation. They begin to enjoy simple things, feeling water in their hands, watching a sunset without analyzing its meaning, laughing with someone without dissecting the connection. For the first time, they're present. And it's in that presence that trust blooms effortlessly. Because when the INFJ inhabits their body, their breath, their moment, they no longer need control. They realize life was always there, just waiting for them to return. This stage doesn't mean stopping deep thinking or feeling. It means integrating it with a new kind of wisdom, the wisdom of living. The phrase that defines this stage is, I trust. Not because I know what will happen, but because I know I'll be okay, even if I don't. The mature INFJ no longer confuses foresight with safety or uncertainty with danger. They learn that control was just another form of fear, and fear dissolves when you decide to witness life instead of analyze it. The INFJ's journey toward trust has no final destination. It's a cycle that repeats each time life challenges them. Sometimes they overanalyze again, sometimes they let go, sometimes they doubt once more. But each time, they do it from a wiser place. Trust isn't the absence of fear. It's not letting fear make your choices. And for the INFJ, trusting life also means trusting their own evolution, their capacity to adapt, heal, and begin again. Maturity comes when they stop seeing life as a test and start seeing it as a dance. Sometimes leading, sometimes following, but always moving. Not all answers arrive with clarity, but the ones that matter are felt. If you're an INFJ, remember this. You're not broken for struggling to trust. You're learning to trust from a heart that has felt too much. Your mind sees far, but your soul longs to stay here. And when you finally unite both, vision and presence, your true freedom begins. Thanks for joining me on this inner journey. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to Psych IQ, and tell me in the comments, what does trusting life mean to you? See you in the next video.